We are live. And today we're talking about something that I'm not known to be talking about, but let's go. Let's make it happen. Also, ChatGPT or OpenAI Atlas has a new browser update over here. Atlas is a new browser update. There are these new icons here. Number one, Organisation Automatique. Right click to edit the template. Okay. Edit the template to group by tabs. Edit templates. Group tabs by shared topic using page titles and URLs, and keep a clear logical order within each group. Do not use created or last interacted dates. Keep my existing tab groups and create new ones if they don't fit for any organized tabs. So these are the new things that are happening over here. So if you have too many tabs, you can just click on this one. You can get Organisation Automatique. You can get Supprimer les doublons. You can get Supprimer les doublons. That's duplicate tabs. Then you got Groupe d'onglet. Créer nouveau groupe d'onglet. And this is where you can create a new group. Okay, got it. And then this is how you supprimer le groupe entier. And then you got style d'onglet. And this is interesting. I was talking to, or no, I was not talking to, but I DM'd, I didn't DM, I commented on a tweet of one of the Atlas browser guys, or the main engineer over there. And I was like, what do you think about vertical tabs? Just like, I think he was talking about scrolling tabs a lot. And he basically mentioned that scrolling tabs are inspired by vertical tabs because of the order you have. And yes, that was the idea. But I don't know. I think they have added more noise. It seems like they've added more noise. I think this should be more like a hover kind of thing, that you hover over here and then it gives you options. Like always having these options right over here, it's just adding too much noise. That's too much noise. I think I liked when it was simple. So yeah, there should be a hover option over here or something. Yeah, there should be a hover option. This is too much noise. And I don't know, why do I have rechercher des onglets? Why do I have research the tabs when there is no tab open? And I think this should pop up after you hit a certain limit. Like obviously, why do you have a search tabs option when there is no tab to search? I thought that they have this because you need to be able to research tabs, where you need to be able to research historical tabs, but I don't think that it even does that. Like, okay, Claude. Yeah, it doesn't even do the research of historical tabs. So why do I have it when there is no tab? This should pop up when you have more than 5+ tabs. So I think there has to be progressive complexity as the user pushes the limit of your product. You should have progressive complexity added to your product. You shouldn't have complexity from day one. Otherwise that user, it's not even whether the user is using your product, it's not even identifying whether it's a power user in general or that's a beginner user. It's also the fact that sometimes power user wants to use your product in a beginner friendly way. Your power user, they might know how to push the limits of your product, but they still choose to use your product in a very simple way. So I think this is also very, very interesting psychology over here. I don't know why they are doing this, but anyways, what I was going to say is today we are talking about something that I don't talk about a lot. Okay, which is fashion. We're going to start talking about fashion because fashion is culture, and our goal is to embed tech into the culture over here. So how do we embed tech into the culture? We have to understand culture. So I think we'll slowly see we'll slowly see myself playing with the culture, because once we understand the culture, then we can embed tech into it. Both of these things have to happen side by side. We are obviously seeing a lot of, as we were doing a lot of research, as we are reaching out to a lot of museums and art schools, we are seeing how they are adopting tech Like one example I came across was one of these museums in Amsterdam. They're working, partnering with Microsoft to analyze all the art, and I think they created an NFT, a 50,000 or 5,000 NFT collection or something like that. So museums, which is the epitome of culture in a city, they are also experimenting with tech, the latest tech, and obviously they have to come together. The best artists are someone who are doing a bunch of remixing. They are using different things that earlier might have been operating in isolation, and they bring them all together. They bring all these verticals together that were initially operating just in silos or operating in isolations. But let's see, or isolation, not isolations. Tell me more about... No. I want to improve my fashion sense. I want to make it elegant. Suggest me the tiers of brands. Fashion tiers for elegant style. Let's see. Here's a breakdown of menswear brand tiers oriented toward elegance. Elegance. All right. Pinnacle luxury, art, haute couture, and bespoke. These are the houses where craftsmanship is almost sculptural. Think hard stitched suits made to measure everything, and fabrics you can feel across the room. Brands like Loro Piana, Brunello Cucinelli, Ketone, Zegna Couture, Tom Ford, and Brioni. For bespoke tailoring, specifically Savile Row houses like Henry Poole, Anderson and Shepherd, and Huntsman are the gold standard. High luxury. I think this is also what's going to happen, right? Like when all the problems will be solved, how are people going to spend their time? They're going to spend their time. How are they going to spend their time? We don't know, but they are going to pick an activity which looks more like craftsmanship, and they are going to focus on a lot of expression de soi. So we are going to see fashion emerge again. Fashion has always been the epitome of self-expression. How do you express yourself? It's through fashion, because it's kind of it's the physical manifestation of your philosophy, your psychology, of your yeah. So that is gonna be very interesting. For bespoke tailoring, specifically Savile Row houses like Henry Poole, Anderson and Shepherd, and Huntsman are the gold standard. High luxury, ready-to-wear excellence. More accessible than full bespoke Zegna, Canali, Isaiah, Ralph Lauren, Purple Label, Dior, Homme, Saint Laurent, Celine, and Le Mer. These give you elegant silhouettes without needing a personal tailor. Accessible luxury, smart entry point. This is where you get strong quality to price ratio with elegant sensibility. Rice, Sandro, Ami, Paris, Theory, Hugo Boss, the Boss line specifically, Massimo Dutti, Club Monaco, and COS. Great for building a refined wardrobe without massive investment. Tier 4 foundation, well-curated basics, solid quality staples that form the backbone of any wardrobe. Uniqlo especially their UN La Mer collabs, Arche, J. Crew, Banana Republic, and Suit Supply. Arguably punches into tier 3 for tailoring specifically. Their suits are remarkable value. Few principles that matter more than any brand. Fit is king. A well-tailored Suit Supply suit will look more elegant than a poorly fitting Brioni. Budget for alterations at every tier. Fabric over logo. Elegance reads through texture. Wool, cashmere, linen, quality cotton. Avoid anything with visible branding. It's like you can go to the best tier, top tier fashion brands. You can learn what they are doing. You can be flabbergasted, not flabbergasted, but you can be breathtaking. You could be, I'm thinking about the quote we posted yesterday. It's soul bounding. It's soul crushing. No, not soul crushing. It's heart pounding. It's soul, whatever. Soul, I forgot. But anyways, okay. Let's go over here back. We're talking about, wow, what are you talking about? Fabric over logo, right? So you can be going for the most expensive suit, but at the end of the day, it's the logo isn't going to be there. So only you know the brand. Nobody else knows the brand. Build a capsule, not a collection. A navy blazer, charcoal trousers, white and light blue dress shirts, quality leather shoes, Allen Edmonds at the entry level, Churches or Crockett and Jones mid-tier, John Lobb or Edward Green at the top. These few pieces in the right fit will outperform a closet full of trendy items. Want me to go deeper on these specific categories? Okay, so I'm gonna pick the first. This is actually really cool because we actually did a deep dive on Loro Piana way back. We did a deep dive on Loro Piana way back a year ago, and now we're coming back to Loro Piana. And I think we also dived into Brunello Cucinelli. Tell me more about Loro Piana, their philosophy of around their clothes, around design, around why they're doing this, what they're doing. And what do they care about? I remember from the discussion, like Loro Piana, I think we looked into the Merlin wool. They specifically work with bunch of, I think they call it rearers in South America, and they specifically make that wool for Loro Piana. So that was very interesting. They are so big, their quality bar is so high that they actually invest in creating those farms, and these farms exclusively give their wool to Loro Piana. Loro Piana is fascinating, and given your interest in philosophical instruments, I think their ethos will resonate with you on a deeper level than just fashion. Entire existence is built on a single conviction: the material is the luxury, not the logo, not the marketing, not the celebrity endorsement. Wow. This is very interesting because Loro Piana, yes, Loro Piana you don't see a lot of celebrities on Loro Piana's. Wow, which is very interesting. Wow. You only see models. You don't see celebrities in the marketing of Loro Piana, which is very interesting. That, hey, you shouldn't be buying a product because we had this actor or actress that you absolutely love market our product. It's because the product looks good, the product feels good, the product is luxury. Wow. Like if we look at Loro Piana, Italy official store. Spring, summer, they only use models. There is no celebrity.
When I go around with people and try to explain to them the place, I always discover something myself.
Really cool. Complimentary shipping, returns, and gift wrapping on all Canada orders. Exploring the metamorphic powers of color, the Loro Piana Spring Summer 2026 collection. New dimension of style and sophistication. Simona skirt, loom bag, tennis walk, sneaker. Formal wear. Small leather goods, sneakers. The look, headland blazer, crow neck, Simona silk, cardo necklace. It's also interesting, I'm right now thinking about it. Many people would think that, oh, models, they're so lucky, they get to wear all these luxury brands, but the problem is they only get to wear one brand. So right now this model that you're looking at, this person that you're looking at, he has been dressed top to bottom in Loro Piana. So there is no true self-expression happening over here. If you talk, like, this is just my hypothesis right now, but if you talk to him right now, he is not gonna, he's restricted in terms of self-expression. Like, we don't truly know about his unique individuality or his unique creativity over here. Why? Because someone else who works at Loro Piana has dressed him in all top to bottom Loro Piana. But what is going to be incredibly beautiful, is when you go out, you experiment with a bunch of things, you pick and choose which one fits you really well, and which one helps you express your taste really well, and that becomes the self-expression, So I think that is beautiful. Because, yeah, it's not about picking one brand and being like, oh, I like everything of this brand, I'm just going to follow whatever they do. You still have to make certain choices that, okay, which coat, which jacket, which shirt, which trousers. So that's where expression and creativity comes into play. But then also you are like, wait, the world is so much bigger. The playground is so much bigger over here where you can play. So why not pick 3 or 4 pillar brands that you want to pick from, and then mix and match everything from there. Oh, I like the trousers that they make, I like the colors that they use, I like the material over here, and that creates even more beautiful combinations. Emblems of functional refinement, like these wallets right now. Loro Piana is doing these wallets because they can do it. Just another SKU in their supply chain. They can be like, oh, we already have this material. We use this kind of material in making maybe their hats or their shoes, and we have this leftover material. What do? Sell your sawdust. And then they are gonna be like, oh, okay, with this little material, we can actually make a wallet. Let's make a wallet. And that's how they came up with these wallets. Maybe just a guess, just your hypotheses. But then somebody else looks at it and they are like, oh, Loro Piana wallet is just the tiny sawdust that they produce, but that is not the main product. But this another company, let's say Ralph Lauren actually only makes wallet. Just an example. Ralph Lauren only just makes a wallet. They are putting all their effort into making a wallet, so they must be making the best wallet, and you will see the stark difference. This is just the difference between Spotify and Apple Music. Apple does a lot of things, and Apple Music is just like one little tiny unit where they spend 1/100th or 1/1,000,000th of their energy. But Spotify, all they do is music. So you can see the difference. You can feel the difference. You can feel something is different in Spotify, because all the energy that is going on is just to make the best music experience, just to make the best beautiful experience over there. Now I'm thinking about this. Now I'm thinking about, okay, we need to change the background. Like the clouds have become old. Now we need like some more flavor over here. Yeah, like this is how we keep growing. We keep adding more flavor into our work. A portrait of monochrome elegance, crafted from Loro Piana royal lightness. The house's women's ensembles are defined by minimalist lines and a refined palette. Royal lightness. Free shipping. Free returns. Book a private appointment. Oh wow. Pecora Nera, now entirely traceable. Oh right, I think they were doing something like this. They were helping you trace where our wool has come from, which exact sheep or something. Learn more about the special fabric and its story, a story of originality and embracing the beauty in the margins. Honoring Loro Piana's centenary, Loro Piana's book Master Fibers recounts the Maison's unique story from a wool trading company to the ultimate destination for sophistication, excellence, and textile artisanship. Published by Astrolene and written by Nicholas Fawkes. Knit Design Award. Talented students from leading design schools around the world with an extraordinary passion for knitwear will demonstrate their creativity in reinterpreting Loro Piana's iconic yarns. Knit Design Award. Master of Fibers. Pecora Nera. Oh my god. This should be a proper movie. This should be a whole movie over here. How I think it's kind of the most beautiful thing, right? Because you are an sheep wool. You are not killing something, but you are still playing with animals. You are. It's very beautiful because it's like, oh, it's a very it's again sawdust kind of thing. It's like sheeps grow this thing, which they even get irritated by. So they also need someone to take out from it. So humans play that role, and then wow, actually wool was pretty cool thing that was built, because that the world, that the universe created, because it's like, oh, it's very natural. Sheeps were made to make wool for humans, and they make these wool and they want it to be taken out from them, and then humans end up using those things. That's pretty cool. That's pretty cool. This would be a beautiful movie. This would be a beautiful Loro Piana movie, like a short documentary where you go from how do we take these wool, how do we take this wool, like how do we, yeah, this like beautiful, how do we, these beautiful landscapes of Argentina, I don't know where this is, of Peru, these beautiful landscapes of Peru where you have like this entire wool rearing community, how they spend their days, and how that wool goes from a sheep is being reared, and then I don't even know if reared is the right word, but you rear, and then it goes to the factory where there's a designer who is like making the right structure, and then that goes to a person who wears that and spends a beautiful day in whatever a city and drinks their coffee. Beautiful, beautiful. Wow. There's like one sheep behind the tractor. Or maybe that's a dog, I don't know. Every legend needs an anti-hero. Okay. The beginning of a special bond, a unique flock, a story of originality, how traceability works, incredible savoir-faire behind Pecora Nea, rare and refined in equal measure, discover the making of the Maison's exclusive dark-hued merino wool. I think one thing which is also very interesting is that somebody recently said that you don't, I think it was Tim Dennings. Tim Dennings recently was talking about you shouldn't be having a niche. Let me find that. Because it was beautiful. And we might need a lot of scrolling up to find that article, but it was beautiful. All right, it's coming, it's coming. Okay, we are close. We are very close. Let's get it. And no, not this one. I think we might have found it. My iMessages now. Oh no. Oh no. Oh no. Did we find it? Did we find it? I found another article by Tim, but here it is. Tim's latest life philosophy thread continuing. Excuse epidemic. Most barriers are alone, helplessness, not reality. Question, are you willing to change? Fears compass systematically face fears for to reveal they are mostly imaginary. Use fear as growth guide. What to sell trap. Business confusion is actually existential confusion. Solution is trying rather than overthinking. Timing fallacy. There's never a right time. Tim's 5-year drum procrastination. The time is always now. Burnout reframe. True burnout only happens doing work you don't care about. Passion creates 12-hour flow states. Mentor dependency. Seeking free mentors. Asking strangers for permission. You already know what to do. Yeah. Reconnect with childhood obsessions. I actually don't know what my childhood obsessions are. That would be something that I'm interested in. Escape plateaus. Nobody gives a shit about what you do. They are too focused on themselves. Entrepreneurship now has more security than traditional jobs. Average life is just 4,000 weeks. So he definitely had a very interesting piece over here, which is basically that don't try to put yourself into a niche. What you are unique at is your perspective. What people will find you for, what people will like you for, is just your own perspective. Like, how do you look at things? You are the same person. It's not that you need to have a niche that, oh, I only talk about whatever databases, like Oracle databases. That's all that I talk about. No, you have to become a lens through which you look at things, and people are really curious about how you look at things, rather than you just talking about one thing, picking with that one thing and just keep talking about that one thing. People are more interested in your lens than just one topic that you talk about, because anyone else can talk about the same topic in the same depth if that's all you care about. But what is most unique is your lens. Your lens is unique. Wow, that's also very interesting. Your lens is unique. And what is lens? Lens is just perception. Like, it's the same things. It's the same flowers, same building, same garden, same mic, same TV, same television, same computer, same iPhone. Everything is the same. But what's different is you. It's your perception. In this moment, I'm the only one sitting over here looking at this iPhone, looking at this computer, talking about Loro Piana, looking at this specific view, and then with my specific upbringing in my specific city. So that is only me. That is the only unique thing, or that is unique. So I think that is where you have to understand what is the difference over here. What is the thing that is truly yours? Or what is the thing that could be sold? What is the thing that could be connected with people? Because yeah, what if suddenly, let's say if you only talk about Oracle databases, what if suddenly we enter into a place where you are going out with your friends and you are like, oh, you cannot talk about Oracle databases. What do you do now? What are you going to talk about now? You become null, like you become null or dull, or you're in a weird state now. You're like, okay, this thing that I built my entire life onto doesn't exist anymore. I cannot talk about it anymore. So what do I do? Who am I? Stuff like that. What if Oracle databases is suddenly just AI makes it such that you don't even need Oracle databases? What if the thing that you spend all your life mastering and working on suddenly becomes a thing that is redundant, is a thing that becomes irrelevant? The thing itself becomes irrelevant. What happens to you? You think that you have become irrelevant because you spend so many hours and so much energy into that. I think same thing could be said about languages, right? Because there are some languages where languages are also a source of understanding of power. Like today, if English is the most spoken language in the world, yes, English could be about efficiency, that English is a much more efficient language, it's easier to communicate. But again, it comes from an aspect of power, that the people who spoke English kind of took on the biggest lands in the world, became the most powerful country in the world, and that led to English becoming the language of communication around the world, the language of trade. If another country would have done something like that, so let's say a country from Africa would have taken on the lands of America, then we would be speaking a different language. A different language would be the language of power around the world. So picking a language was not consensus that, oh, hey, world, look at all the languages, tell me which is the most efficient language to trade across the world, and then we will choose that language, and that language will become the common medium of transmission. No, it was just power. And similarly, I don't know where we started, but I think the goal was power. The idea behind this was power. But anyways, let's go back over here. Mini Spagna jacket, extra bag. Let's see. I think lens was something that we were talking about. Okay. On the logo, not the marketing, on the celebrity endorsement, Pierre Luigi Loro Piana once said that they believe luxury lies in the purity of the fiber and its ability to enhance the experience of wearing it. Well, actually, we're looking into, yeah, this one. Once upon a time, sheep existed in a variety of natural colors, from the cream color we know so well through various shades of beige, brown, black. Yet with time, mankind willfully bred the darker hued sheep out, leaving them to become a rare sight. When most farmers looked away, one fell madly in love. Her name is Fiona Gardner, and she knew there was something refined about the wool. She went on to source far and wide, lending her flock of merino sheep the genetic advantage of hybrid vigor, so that each generation was able to produce a higher quality fiber. Once content with the fiber quality, she searched for someone who would understand its rarity and reveal its particular beauty as they transformed into clothing. That someone was Pier Luigi Loro Piana, bringing the Maison's masterful way with fibers with him, and so Pecora Nera was born. The beginning of a special bond. Pier Luigi Loro Piana met Fiona in the late 90s and was fascinated by the allure and the rarity of naturally dark wool. From that moment, a lasting relationship was born. Quotes from Pier Luigi Loro Piana. A lasting relationship was born, which, through the combination of Fiona's breeding techniques and Loro Piana's textile tradition, led to the creation of Pecora Nera line, now encompassing a wide range of unexpected and nuanced natural hues. This close collaboration marks a step forward toward greater traceability in the wool production processes, from breeding to the finished garment. On quality, the best raw materials are the true luxury. Luxury is not a logo, it is the excellence of the material. We do not create fashion, we create timelessness. We do not create fashion, we create timelessness. Our job begins where nature ends. On materials, you must start from the fiber, everything else follows. If the raw material is extraordinary, the product will speak for itself. Rarity is not something you invent, it is something you discover. On philosophy of the brand, true luxury is discretion. We are not chasing trends, we are pursuing perfection. On innovation means improving what nature has already done beautifully. There's a kind of monk engineer energy in his thinking. Start with nature, interfere as little as possible, elevate with precision. Wow. Yes, pull. ChatGPT's like, I can also pull short aesthetic principles from Loro Piana that translate directly into how to dress better. Yes, pull. From the page you are on, here are the cleanest quote-worthy lines connected to Pier Luigi Loro Piana. Whoa. Most philosophically aligned line on the page, which essentially mirrors Pierluigi's worldview. Woven in this wool is a story of originality, of embracing the beauty in the margins and the quiet power of those who dare to be different. A unique flock, rich and resonant, this is wool that calls for no dye, which also serves to protect the integrity of the fiber in its natural state. From beige, grey, and brown to deep black, the different colored yarns marry together beautifully, lending themselves to the most intricate patterns. Proud purveyor of Pecora Negra, not just for the exquisiteness of the fiber, but what the fiber represents. Woven in this wool is a story of originality, of embracing the beauty in the margins and the quiet power. Trace the fabric's unique journey firsthand by scanning the QR code on your garment. Discover its digital certificate via the Aura Blockchain Consortium platform. Okay, so Loro Piana is working with a blockchain platform to track for traceability. So this is pretty cool. A sustainable blockchain solution offering insights into the main production steps. Okay, so we have something. Loro Piana is using Tell me more about this. So this is how we embed tech into the culture. Aura Blockchain Consortium platform is working with Loro Piana to create a QR code for traceability. And what does the traceability actually help people understand? Does it help understand that, oh, this is the exact sheep that you got your coat from? And then they suddenly start loving that sheep because they're like, hey, I basically wear this coat every single day. It's beautiful and I'm pretty much hugging you all the time. Great eye. Think of it as digital provenance engine for luxury. Instead of trusting a poetic paragraph about sheep raised under alpine moonlight, Aura gives you verifiable supply chain memory for this is nice. This is what luxury brands do, right? Trusting a poetic paragraph about sheep raised under alpine moonlight. Verifiable supply chain memory for the object in your hand. When Loro Piana says scan the QR code, your garment has a blockchain-backed identity that records its journey from sheep, fiber, yarn, fabric, finished piece. Leaves a tamper-resistant breadcrumb, not a marketing story, a cryptographic one. Consortium created. Oh, it's a consortium created by LVMH, Prada, and Richemont. Luxury's equivalent of forming a quiet Jedi council to solve the trust problem. Because in high fashion, the real enemy is not knockoffs alone, it's opacity. What does it actually do? This is actually beautiful. Instead of trying to tackle knockoffs head on by doing some sort of legal stuff, you are creating more trust with your supply chain. That, hey, this is how you can actually track where this product came from. Wow. So this is like taking a different approach. So everybody, because LVMH is kind of the big guy. So LVMH, Prada, Richemont, they are all now, instead of saying that, oh, there are too many knockoffs so let's try to battle them. Let's try to do something to stop these products from entering the market. You are building so much. You are allowing users of your products to really trust your products, and also buy into the story, because all these knockoffs, they don't have story, and they can just slap your QR code on top of their products. So this is pretty cool. We're accessing a digital product passport stored on the blockchain. Origin of raw material, farm source region, processing stages, manufacturing location, authenticity record, sustainability data. So instead of made in Italy being a vague poetic suggestion, it becomes a traceable event log. Why luxury cares. Luxury runs on 3 invisible pillars: authenticity, scarcity, story. Yes, authenticity, scarcity, and story. Aura turns the third into something measurable. The romance of rare black sheep wool from Fiona's flock now has lineage, timestamp, custody, trail. It transforms narrative into infrastructure. Why this matters beyond fashion. Zoom out and this starts looking like proto supply chain transparency, proto carbon accounting, proto ownership layer. Objects becoming data bearing citizens. A sweater tomorrow, anything physical with meaning. art, NFTs, finance, tokenization, identity, verifiable credentials. Luxury just happens to be an early adopter because trust is margin. A subtle signal. Brands like Loro Piana are quietly preparing for a world where show me replaces trust me. Aura. Blockchain. Consortium. There are members. They got members. Who are the members?
I am Aura, inviting you to explore a new and connected world. I am made from luxury, for luxury, from raw materials to the final product. With me, every moment can become transparent, allowing the owner to delve into the product's history and story. In luxury, the most precious asset is the customer. This is why I always put them at the center, making sure their expectations are met and exceeded at every step. I am honest and trustworthy. I enrich every purchase with my unwavering commitment to trust, transparency, and authenticity, enhancing the customer journey like never before. Allow me to safeguard your data, whether you are a customer or a luxury brand, ensuring that every digital journey is compliant, secure, and on the most reliable network. Collaboration is my greatest strength. Thanks to my member brands and extensive network of partners, I can provide a full set of tools to guarantee a secure customer experience. My sole purpose is to advance your brand vision by setting an industry standard and paving the way for tangible change and lasting value.
I'm curious, did this technology come out of LVMH? Did they have engineers who were working specifically on this?
I am Aura, the world's first global luxury blockchain consortium. Together, we will embark on a journey to take your customer's experience to a new level. Be part of the evolution.
Miu Miu, Hublot, OTB, Lalique, Dodge, Givenchy, Prada, Louis Vuitton, Loro Piana, Van Cleef, Zapek, Maison Margiela, Nobel Panacea, Bulgari, Hennessy. Really cool. A revolution from luxury for luxury. Mercedes-Benz, some of our member brands, discover all. Okay, really cool. Steering members, LVMH, Prada Group. What all brands fall into the Prada Group? Not Prada Group. Prada Group. Moral brands? No. How do I change this? Copy, copy. Okay, I gotta copy this. Constellation. Core fashion houses. Prada. Miu Miu. Mischievous younger sibling. Oh wow. Miu Miu is owned by Prada. Where Prada thinks Miu Miu flirts. Churches. British shoemaking aristocracy. Churches. Really cool. Car shoe. Inventor of the driving loafer, leisure engineered. Wow. Pastry meets prestige, Marchesi. Wow, they have a brand just for pastry. Yes, a patisserie. Prada owns a majority stake, luxury but edible. It's an edible luxury. Okay, got it. Eyewear. Prada licenses eyewear to Essilor Luxottica. These are known in manufacturing terms but sit inside the brand ecosystem. Prada, Miu Miu, past minority strategic moves. Helmut Lang, Jill Sander, once owned, later sold. Once owned, later sold. In short, Prada, Miu Miu, Churches, Corshu, Marchesi. What all brands fall into the Richemont Group. Jewelry Maisons. Cartier. Oh wow. The crown jewel. Cartier. Richemont. Quiet cathedral builder luxury. LVMH feels like bustling empire and Kering like a fashion forward gallery. Yeah, I'm surprised, like, is Kering using it, or is LVMH like, no, Kering, you're not going to use blockchain, but then you're like, oh, you're going against the principles of blockchain, which is, what's the word? Oh wow, forget the word. But basically everybody, it's for everybody. You are building a technology for everybody. Interoperability. Van Cleef. Van Cleef and Arpels. Buccellati. Oh wow, Buccellati and Van Cleef seems very similar. Italian gold work with almost Renaissance level intricacy. So this is beautiful. Like, technology is truly helping bring the artist craftsmanship of artists to light. Special watchmakers. Jaeger LeCoultre. Oh wow, they own a lot of Richmond. Schaffhausen. You don't think that you'd think all these brands would be individual. Wow, they own Vacheron Constantin. You would think that these brands are individual, but they are actually owned by one main guy, Richemont. Cartier, Van Cleef, Buccellati, Jaeger, LeCoultre, Schaffhausen, Vacheron Constantin, Langshon, Panerai is also, wow, they own all the, okay, Roger Dubuis. I think the pronounce is Roger, something like that. Roger Dubuis. Piaget, I've never heard of this company. Piaget. Baume and Mercier. Okay. Mont Blanc. Wow. Fashion. Chloe. Oh my god, this group owns everything that Peter Miller. Okay, never heard of Peter Miller. Never heard of Alia. Digital luxury platforms. Yux. Okay. They own a lot of watches, and all the big watches that you know, like big. You think that these are like niche watches. Like, somebody would be very specifically into Vacheron Constantin, but then you realize that, oh, it is owned by Richemont, Van Cleef, Cartier. Cartier is the crown jewel over here. Okay. Wow, a lot of watches. What all brands does OTB own? It's a fascinating one. If LVMH feels like Versailles and Richemont like a watchmaker's guild, OTB is the Rebel Atelier. Okay. Rebel Atelier. So you got Diesel. Okay. They definitely do a lot of interesting work with denim. I've been to, like, I think Diesel is pretty cool. Diesel is actually pretty cool because you definitely go in there and they have done a lot of work. Obviously, I think if you are in Loro Piana and you are working with timelessness, you cannot really push the limits. Like, timelessness at the end of the day is going to look the same. It's going to look a lot like the way things were. And it is kind of tradition. It is kind of like, once you find the right thing, you just keep going with it. But a company like Diesel is Like, just look at this design. Like, they are at the edge. They are experimenting. They are cutting and pasting a lot of things together. Then you got Maison Margiela, conceptual luxury fashion as philosophy. I've heard of this brand, but not much. Okay. Maison Margiela. Then you got Marni. You got Jill Sander. Jill Sander again feels very simple. Victor and Rolf. I think with companies like so what was the last one? Richemont. So Richemont owns a lot of watches. Their executives have to be really careful. Like, are they pushing these individual designers who used to have, like LinkedIn? You think of Microsoft and LinkedIn. Even today, LinkedIn seems like LinkedIn has an identity. But yes, you do see some Microsoft influence. You don't see influence, you see a lot of parallel. It's not like their brands are totally different. You still see LinkedIn looks a certain way, and that looking a certain way is very similar to the corporate feel of Microsoft. But all these watch brands like Vacheron Constantin and Roger Dubious, I don't know how to say that name, Roger Dubious, and then you got, what are the big ones I know? So I know Roger Dubious, I know Panerai, Vacheron Constantin, Schaffhausen, Jaeger. So you know all these brands, they have their own unique identity, and you, as an executive at the parent company, you want to be really careful that you don't push the individual designers at these companies to arrive at a mean. You don't want them to lose their individual identity and just in the race of innovation, you end up losing your identity and come to a new mean. It's actually very interesting. It's very interesting because it's very similar to we talked about recently, which is like traditions. What are traditions and rituals? They are just experiments that worked. That means that gives you an identity. That is pretty cool. But you are also supposed to be innovating. You have to kind of realize, what are these rituals? These rituals are something unique that you do, but they're not supposed to be done that way because they are right. They're supposed to be done that way because that gives you a unique identity, that you are bringing a unique flavor to this world. And I think that is something beautiful to understand. Every time you're following a ritual or something, every culture, they have to understand that it's not that what they are doing is right. It's the fact that what they are doing is bringing more flavor to this world. What they are doing is bringing more flavor to this world because whatever they have done in the past and whatever their parents and grandparents have done in the past, they were just experiments that worked. It's a beautiful mental shift that yes, you still need to be doing the things like today. Even today, I love to, even though I'm over here, I love to go and eat Indian food. Why? Because it has a lot of flavor. There might not be a lot of utility because you cannot just eat butter chicken every single day, but they brought a lot of flavors. So, and you also want to bring your other friends who are not exposed to that culture and that flavor to come and celebrate and experience that culture together. That is beautiful. Okay. Jill Sander, Victor and Rolf. Amiri. Okay. Strategic stake. So core fashion brands are Diesel, Maison Margiela, Marni, Jill Sander. I've not heard of that. Fully acquired 2021. Acquired in 2008. Fashion as theater. Victor and Rolf. So this is very much focused on... Wow. This looks like a painting. This is like wooden frames. A painting that has been... Oh my god. Kuchu dress turned into painting that can hang. Oh my god. This is pretty cool. So I think, yeah, you kind of need this stuff as well. You kind of need a massive amount of experimentation as well. What is this one? Oh, this is a gown that is worn upside down and sideways. Gowns in Paris. Oh, I think I've seen this. Yeah, you do need certain ways to really push the limits of experimentation. I think this is something that even Loro Piana could be doing. Like Loro Piana could be generating Loro Piana could be creating a sub brand or a separate brand. I think they would have done that. I think they would have done that. Does Loro Piana have a sub brand or a sister brand for more experimental design? Because even Arterix has this entire brand called Veilance. And what is Veilance? Veilance is basically a brand where they are experimenting. They're going out of their Arterix, which is more adventurous fits, or not fits, like technical wear. They're moving away from technical wear to more using their technical wear to enter into more formal wear. So it's beautiful. It's beautiful, like, because you don't have this kind of formal wear anywhere. They are using that same material that you would use for like hiking and snowboarding, and where they have pushed the limits in terms of how light and how technical functional can you make your cloth. And then they are putting that into, they're putting this, it's like using a tank for your as a daily driver. It's built for something really rugged, really functional utility. It's built for something really functional. Then you're putting that into your daily drive as like, oh yeah. Okay, I assume it meant Loro Piana. Wait, what did it say? Laurel Piano. The quite luxury Italian house, not Laurel Piano, the instrument brand. Oh, Comme des Garçons, CDG, Plus, Prada, Miu Miu, Yoji, Y3, Yoji and Y3. That's, I think Y3 is owned by Adidas or something. Entire DNA is built on continuity, material obsession, restraint rather than stylistic branching. Grew from a wool and cashmere trading house into luxury fashion, but never evolved through diffusion lines or edgy offshoots. Collaboration: Hiroshi Fujiwara capsule, lab mode, streetwear edges. Hey, where's the pictures? Sub brands. Collaborations. Think material purity, cultural remix. They do not repeat this often because experimentation is meant to remain episodic, not institutional. Material innovation or design experimentation. Baby cashmere, lotus fiber, pecora, naira, traceable black wool, adjacent verticals. Loro Piana interiors. Sister direction. Innovation should be molecular, not theatrical. Explore new shapes. They explore new fibers. Other brands chase Zeitgeist. They chase goats in Mongolia. Other brands chase Zeitgeist. They chase goats in Mongolia. That is pretty cool. They chase goats in Mongolia. If your goal is, I love Loro Piana, but I want something with similar material depth plus more expressive design. Function sister brands in spirit are Le Maire, The Row, Orali, Jill Sander, post-minimalist era, Studio Nicholson, budget tier. Really cool. Studio Nicholson. Alright, let's see. Aura blockchain. OTB, Victor Rolf. And then they had Amiri. Consumer-facing brands, but are crucial to how OTB operates. Staff International handles production, logistics, licensing for many brands. Brave Kid. Staff International, Brave Kid. If Prada is intellectual, Richemont, heritage, OTB, creative authority. Yeah, Diesel is amazing. Like if you go to a Diesel store, I thought like Diesel was kind of like ruined by the knockoffs, because in the knockoffs you just have like a basic t-shirt with the Diesel logo, that's it. But if you go to a true Diesel store, you are like, wow, there's a lot of experimentation going on, which is pretty cool to see. All right, what else? Associate members do we have? Amouge, Another Tomorrow, Exopar, Brabus, Bulgari, Cartier, Chopard, Classe Azul, Dior, Givenchy, Her Historia, Hublot, Lalique, Loro Piana, Louis Vuitton, Marni, Mercedes-Benz, H. Moser, Poltrona, Prada, Nobel, Dodds, Zegna. Very interesting. About. I think we saw the about section. Collaboration for the greater good. Steering members. Board of directors. Okay. So chairman, right, they want the partnership between the two brands, Prada. They want the partnership between, they want one guy representing each company to make it run properly. Chairman, vice chairman. Chairman is from Prada. Lorenzo Bertelli, chief marketing officer, head of CSR. Vice chairman is Frank Lemoyle, LVMH CIO. Then you have OTB, Cartier, OTB, Cristiano Bussetto, Stefano Rosso. There's this company, Stefano Ricci, I think Stefano Ricci, and they are doing a massive campaign in India. I'm seeing a lot of like their models in Jaipur and Rajasthan, and they are doing pretty good like model shoots. And it's very interesting because it's like, okay, the entire Amalfi Coast and Italian towns and French towns and European towns, that is now something that everybody can see on Instagram. What's different is now go to an Indian spot, go to a very traditional Indian spot, and then capture those photos. That is something that people haven't seen. Stefano Rosso. You got Louis Vuitton, Van Cleef, you got Prada. Pierre Fabrice Torino, Alexandra Lupus. Love to read these names. Okay. And let's look at the solutions. Like traditional storage. The branding doesn't feel like it was built by someone at LVMH or Prada, but okay. I thought taste is very, what do we say? Transferable, but it doesn't seem like taste is very transferable over here. With the font and the color that they picked, this looks like a very standard, looks like a very standard, what do we say? Looks like a very standard Wix template. Digital product passport, digital collectibles. Oh, crazy. Givenchy, Prada. Yeah, very weird. Okay, this is the one we looked at. Oh, how are you seeing? I think there's like a little thing where people can see. Interesting. Strategic layer. Sustainability compliance, circular economy tracking, greenwashing scrutiny. Consortium governed permission, brand data controlled. Automotive, furniture, perfumery is not really blockchain. It's about turning physical goods into programmable identity objects. Luxury is just the first domain where authenticity matters, life cycle value persists, storytelling drives prices, and way Aura hints at a future where everything valuable has a memory. Prada and Louis Vuitton teaming up sounds like fiction, but blockchain infrastructure is like roads. Everyone benefits if provenance is standardized. Sustainability claims are verifiable. Resale markets don't fragment brand control. So Aura is less like a startup, more like NATO for handbags. Aura is NATO for handbags. Pretty cool. Maintain anti-counterfeit protection, resale market traceability, post-sale relationship with future owners. This part is huge. Resale breaks the brand customer link. With Aura, ownership transfers, but relationship persists. Luxury becomes networked. I think that is beautiful. That is beautiful. How you can resell your product, but how can the brand still maintain relationship with this new customer? Because at the end of the day, the customer is buying a product of the brand. Who they bought it from doesn't matter, but what is the product they're using and who manufactured the product matters, because they're going to be using the product day to day. So there has to be a relationship over there. That's actually beautiful. That is beautiful. That is beautiful. Okay. We will go back. They're a sixth-generation Italian family that started as wool merchants in Trevero in the Piedmont region. Piedmont, back in 1800s. Formally established the brand in 1924. But here's what's important: they didn't start as a fashion brand, they started as fiber obsessives. They were textile people first, and clothing came much later. What they actually cared about, the quest for the rarest fibers on earth. This is where it gets almost spiritual. Loro Piana doesn't just source materials, they go to the ends of the earth, literally, to find fibers most people don't even know exist. Right, we read about Vicuña last time, often called the fiber of the gods. It comes from a wild camelid in the Andes, and it's so rare that Loro Piana played a key role in the conservation of the Vicuña species, helping to regulate ethical shearing practices in Peru and Argentina. They helped save the animal from extinction to ensure the supply chain was ethical and sustainable. Baby cashmere, ultra rare fiber from the under fleece of Hircus goats in Mongolia, with only about 30 grams of usable fiber per goat. Lotus flower fabric, handwoven in Myanmar. This textile is known for its breathability, softness, and extreme exclusivity. Storm system, making natural fibers water and wind resistance without sacrificing softness, and a plant-based green storm system, innovations that increase durability against the elements while maintaining the integrity of the natural fiber. The philosophy of quiet. Discrete approach to design, focusing on the quality and feel of materials rather than prominent logos or flashy designs. The entire design language is built around the idea that if the material is extraordinary, the design should get out of the way. This is just like the iPhones of today. It's like, if internet is truly extraordinary place for people to connect with other people, then the design should get out of the way. So all we have is a glass slab, a slab of glass. If internet is truly extraordinary, if apps are truly extraordinary, the design of the phone should get out of the way. Clean lines, neutral palettes, understated detailing, allowing the quality of the material to take center stage. There's something almost Vedantic about this, the idea that the deepest reality doesn't announce itself. The guiding ethos is that true luxury is defined not by logos but by substance, exquisite materials, refined aesthetics, and the higher standards of craftsmanship. Vertical integration is philosophy. Loro Piana controls the entire chain. From the goat herder in Mongolia to the finished garment, they are a vertically integrated company, managing the entire supply chain from raw fiber sourcing to spinning, weaving, and finishing in their Italian factories. It's a statement that you can guarantee excellence if you outsource any part of the success. The human element, one detail that really captures who they are. Pierluigi was found saying that a handshake is worth more than any signature on a contract. Many of their partnerships with small-scale farmers and herders on the world were built on personal trust rather than legal agreements. Would always leave with hands on each other's shoulders and an invitation for pasta dinner at home. Wow. The brothers Pierluigi and Sergio often butted heads in the boardroom, but would always leave with hands on each other's shoulders and an invitation for pasta dinner at home. Why it matters for your wardrobe. Loro Piana represents the apex of a particular philosophy. That elegance is the absence of effort. That luxury should be felt rather than seen, and that the relationship between a person and the material touching their skin is something almost sacred. You don't wear Loro Piana to signal wealth, you wear it because nothing else feels like it. Oh my god. Tell me more about the philosophy of Pierluigi Loro Piana. Is the fashion equivalent something that reveals the truth through direct experience rather than telling you about it? I think this is beautiful. This is definitely beautiful. There are so many experiences in this world where you cannot put them into words. I'm actually curious. I'm curious. What are some experiences in this world that you can't put into words? I think psychedelics is one of them, definitely. It is something that you don't know how to put that into words. Everybody has a different way to explain it, explore it. What a question. Basically, the territory your instruments keep circling, right? The felt sense of consciousness itself. The felt sense of consciousness itself. That's true. How do you even explain consciousness to someone? It feels like you are aware. That is, awareness is consciousness. Awareness means you're constantly thinking about things, but you can also stop thinking about things. That's also consciousness. You're constantly feeling. There's something that's feeling. It's always driving you to do something. How do you describe consciousness? It's awareness. It's always seeking. But then you can also stop seeking if you want to control it. Wow. Genuine recognition between two people. Genuine recognition between two people. Not an understanding in the cognitive sense, but the moment where the membrane between self and other thins to almost nothing. It's why Rumi kept writing thousands of poems about it and still felt he hadn't said it. Oh my God. Oh my God. This is where you get art from. You trying to explain an experience that can be put into words. What is art? I think I was talking to a friend today and we were talking the same thing. Like, a bird doesn't sing because it has a solution. A bird sings because it has a song. And what is that song? That song is basically just trying to explain a feeling, an emotion. Like, most of the songs are around love and war or something like that. And you are trying to explain something that can be explained. So you are putting a lot of words in line to explain something. And the interesting thing is that as you keep on having more experiences in life, you will connect more dots and you will have more ways to explain that same thing that cannot be put into words. The shift right before insight, not the aha itself, but the microsecond where your old frame of understanding dissolves and the new one hasn't crystallized yet. It's pure liminal space. You can't describe it because description requires a stable framework, and the whole point is that yours just evaporated. Wow. Flow states at their deepest. You have built tools around this. The paradox is that the experience is defined by the absence of the self-narrating mind. So the moment you try to articulate it, you have already exited the state that made it worth articulating. Grief in its raw form. The quality of a single sensory moment, what red actually looks like, what a particular chord feels like. Philosophy calls these qualia, and the entire hard problem of consciousness basically reduces to why can't we translate these into words or equations? Beautiful. Beautiful. Why can't we translate consciousness into words and equations? The felt sense of consciousness itself. You can describe contents of awareness, thoughts, sensations, emotions, but the raw fact of being aware slips through every net you throw at it. Niti, not this, not this. Every description becomes another object in consciousness rather than a description of it. The tool can measure itself. Words work by differentiation, but consciousness is the precondition for difference. Equations capture relationships between quantities, but experience isn't a quantity. There may be a deeper structural reason. Or maybe the framing is wrong entirely. Consciousness might not be a puzzle to solve, but the medium in which all puzzles exist. The Buddhist move here is to stop asking and just look directly. Why can't we translate wetness into hydrogen and oxygen? Wetness isn't a failure of chemistry. It's what chemistry feels like from the inside. Turiya. Precisely because it's the awareness that witness the other three states but can't be made into an object of any of them. Language and mathematics are products of consciousness. Asking them to fully capture consciousness is like asking an eye to see itself without a mirror, or more precisely, asking it to see the act of seeing. Yes, yes, yes. Quality as a first principle, not a strategy. Technology as servant, never master. This one's fascinating because it mirrors something in your work, the tension between technology and wisdom. Was never to use technology if the quality would be reduced. Quality comes first. Technology has to serve it, not vice versa. He wasn't anti-technology. Proprietary fabric treatments, pioneered performance cashmere for ski jackets, and runs advanced testing laboratories. But the hierarchy was absolute. The fiber's integrity is sacred, and technology exists only to serve that integrity, never the reverse. Learning through the hands. One of Pierre Luigi's first tasks in the family firm was to compile inventories of raw material before the dyeing process. He didn't start with strategy or finance. He started by touching fabric, by counting it, by knowing it physically before knowing it intellectually. He described the company not as work but as home. He preferred to call the environment he worked in home rather than work. This is knowledge through direct encounter, not abstracted, not theorized, felt. The pragmatic conservation ethic gets genuinely profound. On the Vicuña, the endangered Andean animal that produces the world's rarest fiber, Pierre Luigi said he and his brother became convinced that buying and selling legally sheared Vicuña hair was the only way to help the species increase in numbers. If the animal becomes useful to society, people will take care of it. If it's not useful, they will not. This is not sentimental environmentalism. It's a deeply pragmatic, almost Taoist reading of human nature. Don't fight against self-interest. Redirect it. Make preservation profitable, and preservation will happen. He essentially created an economic ecosystem where the Vicuña's survival and Loro Piana's business interests were perfectly aligned. If the animal becomes useful to society, people will take care of it. If it's not useful, they will not. The handshake over the contract. He was fond of saying that a handshake is worth more than any signature on a contract, and those who knew him recalled a great linearity between what was said and what was done. This is a native idealism. It's a statement about where trust actually resides, not in legal documents but in character. His entire global sourcing network with farmers and herders across Mongolia, Peru, Australia, New Zealand was built on personal relationships first, contracts second. Embracing natural imperfection. One of the most revealing moments. Naturally dark colored wool that most manufacturers would bleach or dye to achieve uniformity. Its natural color is its perfection, and that's what makes it special. Instead of correcting nature to fit an industrial standard, he let the material's inherent character dictate the design. Discipline of focus. You wouldn't see a Loro Piana perfume. Oh no, I think I've seen Loro Piana perfume. Glosses or watches. Yes, there are no watches. But they did partner because they concentrate on their core business, while every other luxury brand was licensing its name onto everything from sunglasses to hotel lobbies. We've seen Loro Piana interiors. Pierre Luigi refused. If it wasn't about fiber fabric and garments, it wasn't Loro Piana. You wouldn't see founded stores because that wouldn't be consistent with the brand's exclusivity. Okay, now I'm curious. How many stores does Loro Piana have in the world? Obviously, this is like what the founder said, and now the founder is no more controlling person at the company, so things change. Elegance as intelligence in motion. There's a beautiful quote about his passion for sailing. He saw it as an elegant sport where you have to employ your intelligence. It's technical, but you also have to take into account the natural elements, the wind, the water, the weather. This reveals how he thought about elegance itself, not as a decoration, but as the intelligent negotiation between human intention and natural forces. Vanity stores. Okay. In North America, they have stores in cities like New York, Beverly Hills, Aspen, Dallas, San Francisco. Notably, they have a store in Vancouver. I think I know the Vancouver store. I've been there. Intentionality behind this number. The company's value has more than quadrupled since LVMH's acquisition and is now estimated at around 10 billion. So they could easily open hundreds more. They choose not to. Every store is designed to feel like a private home rather than retail space, with stone, oak, natural fabrics, and warm lighting. How is LVMH operating Loro Piana? How much involvement does the LVMH executives have in operating Loro Piana? And how is Loro Piana able to control its identity even after the acquisition? We'll quickly see the Canada store. Where is the Canada store? Holt Renfrew, Vancouver. It is not the best store in the world. They're talking about stone, oak, and all of that stuff. That's not happening in Vancouver. Okay, we missed the first point, which is quality as first principle, not a strategy. Treat quality as a competitive advantage, a means to an end. Pierluigi treated it as an end in itself. His definition of luxury was research in quality. Quality with no compromise, meaning you don't think about how much something will cost in order to achieve the very best. This is a crucial distinction. He wasn't saying be expensive. He was saying cost is irrelevant to the pursuit of excellence. The price is whatever the truth of the material demands. The price is whatever the truth of the material demands. His mantra repeated throughout his career was simply quality will save our company. Not marketing, not expansion, not trends. Quality. Cost is irrelevant to the pursuit of excellence. Quality with no compromise. Research and quality. Wow. The deal structure, built-in identity protection. The acquisition, deliberately designed to be gradual, not a takeover. Acquired 80% for 2 billion. Okay. Loro Piana family retained 20% along with their management positions. Included put and call options, mechanisms that let either side trigger a further sale on pre-agreed terms over time. LVMH acquired another 5% in 2017, and just recently, 2025, raised its stake to 94% by purchasing an additional 9% for 1 billion, valuing the brand at 11 billion total. Crucially, even 94% ownership, Maria Luisa and Pierluigi Loro Piana continue to serve as members of the board directors, framing their continuity as safeguarding the Maison's heritage and actively contributing to the strategic oversight of the brand's future. Maison autonomy. And this is what makes them different from a typical conglomerate, is that each brand, they call them maisons. Maison, French for houses, operates with significant autonomy, striving to ensure the long-term development of each of its houses in keeping with their identity, heritage, and expertise. In practice, with what this means for Loro Piana is that LVMH provides the financial infrastructure, global retail expertise, and scale. Financial infrastructure, global retail expertise, and scale, while the brand's creative direction, sourcing philosophy, and production all remains rooted in the Italian operations that existed before the acquisition. Maintain Loro Piana's existing management team and production facilities. That's it. Absolutely inserted its own people into key positions. Chairman Antoine Arnauld, Bernard's eldest son, became chairman of Loro Piana and led its integration into the group. CEO rotation. First, Matthew Brissett, a longtime LVMH executive, was appointed CEO to oversee day-to-day operations. 2016, Fabio D'Angelo Lantonio replaced Brissett, bringing experience from Luxottica. Then Damien Bertrand took over. and most recently signaling just how important Loro Piana has become to the group. Frederick Arnold, Bernard Arnold's second youngest son, was named CEO, moving from his role as CEO of LVMH watches. Wow, it's pretty cool. You kind of know how important the brand is based on where the kid's going. You know how important the brand is based on, yeah, what the kids are doing. I think the daughter is working at Tiffany. What brands are Bernard Arnold's kids running today? Slowly being positioned like a five-piece orchestra across LVMH's empire. Every child isn't just working in the business, they are stewarding a different aesthetic universe. Alexander Arnold, yeah. One guy is at Tiffany. Wait, he's the youngest kid. Executive VP. Force behind modernizing Remova into a sleek design object rather than just luggage. Wow. Now at Tiffany, he's been helping. We need age as well. He's been helping reposition it from legacy jeweler to cultural luxury symbol. Think collabs, Nike, Pharrell, sharper branding. Sharper branding, younger relevance. His lane, making heritage feel contemporary without diluting it. Frederick Arnold, second youngest son. Wow, he looks like one of the... That haircut is crazy. He looks like one of the Stoics, Roman. Alexander Arnold. Loro Piana, previously CEO of Tag Heuer. Connected watches, F1 style sport positioning, younger luxury entry point. Something far more delicate, guarding Loro Piana's purity while scaling it. This is not a growth job, it's a restraint job. Antoine Arnold. Wow. Antoine Arnold. Berluti, head of image and environment at LVMH, chairman of Loro Piana. Wow. Loro Piana is becoming important. Antoine is less operator, more custodian of taste across the group. Berluti sits in the elegant masculine niche. Patina shoes, sculpted tailoring, quite authority. Berluti. Menswear leather goods. Wow. Beautiful. French luxury menswear and leather goods house, best known for high-end men's shoes with distinctive hand-applied patinas. In Paris by Italian shoemaker Alessandro Belluti. So this is also becoming important. Craftsmanship in products. Alessandro Sartori, Heider Ackerman, Chris Van Ash, while maintaining shoemaking and is Italian manufacturing based near Ferrara. As of 24, Jean-Marc Monswell serves as CEO with Antoine Arnold as chairman, and the brand continues to appear at Paris Men's Fashion Week. Quite authority. Yeah, so this is beautiful. They're not just chasing growth. They're also going after restraint. How do we protect the purity of a brand? It's beautiful. It's beautiful. It's like when you're moving between so many brands, you're learning from everybody, but you also have to really dive deeper into the identity of that brand itself, because you can be making decisions that dilute that brand's identity. That's a very difficult job, yeah. Delphine Arnold. Delphine is the... Okay, there are 5 kids. Okay, Christian Dior Couture, previously second in command at Louis Vuitton under Michael Burke. Dior is arguably the most creatively volatile house in the group. Her job balance art plus scale, fashion plus profitability. Christian Dior. This is Christian Dior. Oh my God, what a beautiful building. Haute couture, ready to wear accessories, 409.47. I think it makes sense that Delphine was leading this. Parent group is LVMH, Moet Hennessy, Louis Vuitton. Similar Parisian elegance and craftsmanship. Ateliers and Avenue Montaigne became synonymous with the art of haute couture and remain the creative heart of the brand. Legally registered as a simplified joint stock company. Yeah, I think LVMH can really help them figure out all this global scaling and operation stuff, because that's where you can really protect the brand from a financial standpoint, and then you can be like, okay, now you go run the creative direction and we will take care of everything that is in the back end, in the back office. Because sometimes you might have these entire equity things that might be blocking the actual creative direction. So someone like LVMH can come in and they can, hey, okay, we have the money, we'll give you the protection, and now let's find the balance of creative direction and profitability. Delphine Arnauld, Jean Arnauld. Jean loves watches. Maison Louis Vuitton, director of watches. He's the youngest and working on turning LV watches into from logo accessory to legitimate horology player. Okay, this is going to be hard because Louis Vuitton is not specifically known for watches. So now what you're doing is you're just taking inspiration from other people, like other people who have created their identities, and you're like injecting that in this brand. Then give them random divisions. Each one governs a different philosophy of luxury. Delphine, creative fashion power. Antoine, cultural brand stewardship. Alexandre, modernized heritage. Frederic, purist excellence. Wow. Loro Piana. Jean, emerging legitimacy. Wow. Exactly. Like you are creating, you're bringing legitimacy to something that didn't exist before. So that is also a hard job. Purest excellence, really hard job. How do you keep it pure? You have to immerse yourself into their identity to keep it pure. Modernizing heritage, yes. Cultural brand stewardship. Custodian of taste across the group. Art, status, innovation, craft, time. Really cool. Placing a member of the Arnold family direct is a significant move. It tells you LVMH sees Loro Piana not a satellite brand with one of its own crown jewels. The tension and the honesty. Candid moment from a business or fashion interview worth noting. Pierluigi acknowledged that he no longer controls the company that bears his name, and that the sale led to a new chairman and new CEO and could bring an end to the family's involvement entirely. His longtime COO left. When asked about the future, Pierluigi said he didn't know what was going to happen. Discussions were ongoing. So it's not a fairy tale of perfect continuity. There's a real loss of control, but there are also structural reasons the identity has survived. The product is the moat. Isn't sitting in a marketing department that new executive could redirect. It's sitting in relationships with Mongolian herders, Peruvian Vicuña reserves, and Australian wool farmers built over decades. It's in 10 production facilities in Italy. It's in proprietary fabric treatments. You can rebrand that or redirect it without destroying the thing that makes it valuable. Any LVMH executive who tried to slap logos on Loro Piana cashmere or outsource production to cut costs would be destroying the very thing they paid $2 billion for. Revenue grew from 700 million to an estimated 1.6 billion. Loro Piana has become the third largest business in LVMH's fashion leather goods division, behind Louis Vuitton and Dior. Wow, so behind their iconic brands. When the quiet, no logo, fiber obsessed philosophy delivers those kind of returns, there's no incentive to change it. Self-interest aligns with preservation. Loud brands, Louis Vuitton, Dior, Fendi, that occupy the quiet luxury space at the absolute top. Turning Loro Piana into another logo-driven house would make it redundant within their own portfolio. Making preservation economically rational. Wow, 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 wow. Beautiful, beautiful. They did this thing with Vicuña that, hey, let's make preservation of Vicuña actually profitable, and then people will care. People won't care if they are not making money from it. So similarly, now you are making Loro Piana is making so much money that, wow, making preservation economically rational. You want to preserve Loro Piana because it is making so much money. Preserves Loro Piana's identity not out of sentimentality, but because the identity is the economic engine. The moment you compromise the fiber, the sourcing, the restraint, the whole value proposition collapses. It's a self-protecting system. The guardrails are thinner than they have ever been. The next decade will test whether Pierre Luigi's philosophy can survive without a Loro Piana at helm. I don't know if it's Pierre Luigi is the son of the founder, or if that's the founder himself. This year could bring an end to the Loro Piana's family involvement in the business, which was acquired by LVMH in 2013. Wait, this doesn't look like quite luxury. Quality will save our company. Trading wool. Franco Loro Piana, Pierre Luigi's father, started exploring the fine fabrics in 40s, and Pierre Luigi and his older brother Sergio joined in the 1970s. Sergio died in December 2013 at the age of 65. Oh no. This sounds very bad. 2013 they were acquired, and the same year. Okay. The billionaire owner of LVMH has installed his son Antoine Loro Piana chair when appointed a French CEO. Duty to smooth the transition to new ownership, Loro Piana's longtime chief operating officer quit last year. LVMH can still ask members to sell it, or the Loro Pianas can push LVMH to buy it. Pierre Luigi says he doesn't know what's going to happen. My feeling is that they want to continue to be part of the capital. What I feel our clients want is stability. Global luxury sales will expand at best by 2% in 2016, making the industry's second weakest year. Loro Piana shuttered 2 locations in Italy and South Korea in the first quarter. How they charge customers and what they sell as terror attacks and elections diminish the feel-good factor that drives consumers to buy luxury goods. There's a misconception on the brand, noting that it also sells cashmere sweaters for 800 euros. It's a question largely of communication. The 1650 median price of the collection was down 2% compared with spring-summer online. Widening the price range online is a tactic LVMH has used more aggressively at other fashion leather goods brands it owns, notably Louis Vuitton and Givenchy. The plan to offer a more balanced selection of products may lead to selling more items at the lower end of the price range, but it doesn't mean the company will be making cheaper cashmere sweaters. Quality doesn't suffer. You don't have to make things which are just expensive. I don't see a possibility for Loro Piana to be successful changing the strategy. The strategy should remain the same. The strategy should remain the same. Oh, Audemars Piguet. We'll look into Audemars Piguet next. Yeah, Audemars Piguet is also something very interesting. We got Cucinelli says it resumed shipments to Saks at end of January. Wait, what is this? BOF. Business of Fashion. How Dior and Chanel are winning back aspirational shoppers. Luxury retailers since founders get buyout approval. Very interesting. What is the trend of luxury market? Current dynamics and trajectories in luxury consumer markets. Luxury consumer markets. Turbulent right now, which actually makes the Loro Piana conservation even more interesting. The beginning of a contraction. Okay, 2025 contracted. 20 million customers, bringing the active customer base down to 330 million. Cautiously optimistic. Currency headwinds may cut to 4%, but the underlying mood is one of reset, not boom. The aspirational middle class customer has been priced out. This is maybe the most significant structural change. Indiscriminate price inflation has effectively eradicated a whole category of luxury customers. Now they're paying for it. Quiet luxury has won the philosophical argument. JP Morgan's fieldwork in China. High net worth individuals are becoming more sophisticated, opting for understated style over ostentatious logos. Definitive shift toward quiet luxury. Loro Piana has occupied for a century value over volume. 2026 to be a year where value outweighs volume, with about 67% anticipating stable or growing revenues. The industry is pivoting from sell more to sell better. The customer experience is broken. 70% of consumers are unsatisfied with their current in-store experience. When every luxury store feels the same, the differentiation disappears. Geographic rebalancing. The US is the bright spot. China is cooling structurally. Domestic brands like Jeweler, Lapo Gold, driven by growing national pride and better perceived value. This is not a cyclical plan to buy more Chinese brands. Asia Pacific overall is still the long-term growth engine. The region is poised to accelerate, propelled by China's eventual recovery and India's expanding affluent middle class. The winner and losers pattern. Louis Vuitton down, Gucci falling a dramatic 35%. Hermes grew its brand value by over 17%. Gucci falling a dramatic 35%. Built on genuine craftsmanship, product integrity, and design originality are thriving brands that rely on logo hype, aspirational marketing. Aggressive price increases are getting punished. The luxury market is moving toward a relationship-driven model shaped not by scale, but by cultural relevance, trust, and the ability to blend intimacy with innovation. The deeper trends. Health as the new status symbol. Material possessions as the new badge of honor. Experiential. You might see Loro Piana entering into the Lululemon world. They're like, hey, now we make technical athletic wear with merino wool, with Vicuña wool. Experiential over material. Prioritizing experiences and smaller ticket items that carry social and emotional value. AI as a transformative force. AI and innovation in material production as the most transformative forces shaping the industry's future. Origin story over origin country. Authentic creation stories. Consumers want to understand the creators, processes, and ideas that bring products to life. Wow. Consumers want to understand the creators, processes, and ideas that bring products to life. What this means for Loro Piana. Almost perfectly positioned for this environment. The market is punishing brands that relied on hype and rewarding brands built on substance. The shift toward quiet luxury, toward material integrity, over logo visibility, toward storytelling rooted in genuine craftsmanship. This is literally what Pierluigi was building for 40 years. The market has come to meet the philosophy, not the other way around. The real question for your own elegance journey. The market correction means that the principles of dressing well, fit, fabric, restraint matter more than ever, because the era of buy the logo and you're done is definitely over. Growth is cooler but clear. The demand map is shifting. How shoppers plan to spend is diverging by region. Profiles are moving fast. Icons collector. Fashion forward icon. Power patron. Quiet luxury enthusiast. Statement collector. Status shopper. Bespoke aficionado. Price perception. Ceiling effects are real but not universal. Channel dynamics. New trade frictions are testing the industry's profitability model. Luxury promise shifts from made in to believed in. Reframe origin as authorship, not coordinates on a map. Let market dynamics inform, not disrupt your pricing strategy. Explore new growth levers. Diversify ecosystem, securing access to craftsmanship, tech, the creative capital. The creative capital. Collaboration with Google Cloud. Okay. Independence will always define luxury, but interdependence will define its future. Independence alone is no longer enough. The complexity of today's global landscape demands collaborative ecosystems, from suppliers and logistics partners to creative agencies, tech firms, and retail partners. Really cool, really cool. All right,